Jason Potvin here, creator of Brain Advisor, and welcome back to Step 7 in building resilience at work. Now, I hope everything went well last week when you were practicing from the last video, which was all about seeking out opportunities for growth. Now, today in Step 7, we're looking at positive self-regard. And this is giving positive self-regard to yourself. I know it might sound a bit abstract, but let me introduce you to it. So positive self-regard is all about accepting yourself, respecting yourself, kind of loving yourself, being a best friend to yourself. You know, how would you treat yourself like you would treat somebody else? And hopefully you treat other people very nicely. So much of the time we are harsh and judging ourselves, that negative self-talk, the rumination over and over, I'm this, I'm that, I'm not this, I'm not that. That is the opposite of positive self-regard. We really want to take a step back from all of that self-judgment because it's not necessarily assisting us in any way. It doesn't serve us. It's sort of a bit of an addiction, really, and it's based on our primal negativity bias, where we're constantly looking for the things that are wrong, and then we're looking at them and internalizing themselves. So, what do we want to do here? We want to have a deep dive look at humanistic psychologist Dr. Carl Rogers and his research into positive self-regard. Of course, if we're going to have some positive self-regard to ourselves, it's going to take a bit of focus and attention on ourselves. So we have to still be disabling all the distractions that are going around, as we've learned in previous videos. Now that we're kind of alone with ourselves in an intimate way, what we would like to be doing is having some level of self-awareness. I wouldn't say some level, I would like to say having a solid level of self-awareness. Knowing how are you feeling, because how do you know what you say to yourself is in positive self-regard if you don't even know how you feel about what you're saying? Let's try something out. So imagine you're telling yourself, here's a classic one, I'm so fat, I'm so fat, I'm so fat. I mean, you need to be at least self-aware enough to know, how does it feel when you call yourself fat? I know many of you, probably no one really knows, that I was a huge fat obese kid when I was young. And hell yeah, that plays on your mind. I totally know how that is. But it doesn't really help you at all if you constantly keep having this lack of positive self-regard to be telling yourself, I'm so fat, I'm so fat. You know, more than half the time you're not fat. It's this problem with social comparison and people who are in catalogs that are getting photoshopped 80% of their body. Anyways, I digress. Point being, talk to yourself nicely and work on a different path. A path that involves development. You may not be where you want to be right now, but you are where you are right now, and you can get to where you want to be. Little by little, taking these steps for opportunity to grow and develop. Now that we've ticked self-awareness, let's look at metacognition. So, I know we did a video on metacognition, I'll definitely put it in the description below. Metacognition is all about thinking about your thoughts. So you want to make sure that when you are being self-aware, you're processing what you're saying to yourself, these thoughts, like I had mentioned earlier, I'm so fat, and kind of put some space there and be able to challenge yourself, saying, you know what, I weigh 160 pounds, I'm 5'8", that's impossible that I'm fat. Stuff like that. Once we catch ourselves, then we can actually challenge, and what we're going to be challenging with is, you know, evidence against, evidence for, but in a way that's involving self-love to ourselves. This could very well feel too fluffy to people, but until you try it, you really don't know what you're missing out. And I don't mean you're sending yourself roses and chocolates here. We're talking about self-love and a very basic security need. Love yourself enough to not make fun of yourself. Love yourself enough to not talk smack about yourself or to bring yourself down. That's what we're talking about here. So let's jump right into the practices. How can we practice positive self-regard at work? Maybe you're in the elevator. You're rushing to get to the convenience store because you want to buy a chocolate bar because you're stressed out. But you have a goal in order to be healthy and fit. Then it would be about asking yourself, is this thought to go or this behavior to pick up and go to the convenience store, is that really serving you to meet your goals? Is it serving you as a person? Probably not. Are you acting out of self-care for yourself? If you're stressed, what do you really need? Is it the chocolate bar? Or is it possibly you just need to have a break? Maybe you need to go and take a walk. Have a little breathing meditation for 5 minutes. Just calm it all down. Go talk to a friend and laugh for 5 minutes. That's probably what you really need. And the last practice would be asking yourself, is this thought, feeling, or behavior helping me to develop and build resilience? We're on step number 7 now, so you're probably at a position where you can judge as to whether or not it is working for you or not. And all of this process is building up your positive self-regard. You're essentially putting yourself first because you accept where you are, you accept yourself for who you are and where you want to be. And you're supporting that in a way that's self-caring, self-loving. It's all about self at that point. It's the one time where, outside of the selfie phenomenon, it's kind of very healthy to be checking in with yourself for positive self-regard. All right, let's do a quick recap. So first, be aware, self-aware of what's going on in your head and around you, especially by disabling all distractions, or at least as much as possible. Get in the metacognition. Start thinking about your thoughts and being objective. Are these working for you? Ask yourself. Be a team and work it out together. Practice self-love. Respect yourself. And remember that you're this amazing being having an extremely human experience. Be kind to yourself and hold yourself in positive self-regard. Thanks for taking the next step in building resilience at work. As always, we want to hear your feedback. The feedback's coming back. We're loving it. We're going to keep bringing this information out. When you're near our Facebook page, give us a like. LinkedIn, give us a follow. And YouTube's big, subscribe and love or like our videos, please, so we can get more out to you. And that's it. We'll see you next week for step 8. And until then, practice, practice, practice for progress and stay positive. Cheers.